Hi, everybody. I'm Simon Diaz. Today we have a special episode with these two ladies who actually have been in school, and the topic today is, does traditional education make you more creative? I don't know. Let's see what happened. Okay, guys, welcome back. Today I'm with Carly Bratton, as always. And with us today is Reina. You know Reina already.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
And Lou.
Lou.
So this is the cool thing, right? Reina and Lou, they are, well, she already graduated in college. She is in college. We're just stupid. So
Speak for yourself,
yeah.
man.
Introduce yourself, lady.
Okay, so my name is Lou. I've been studying in Seattle Central College for a year and a half. So this year I'm ending the program, the 2-year program, and I'm enjoying the program actually. It's been like really stressful, but at the same time it gives me a lot of knowledge and stuff that I didn't know. Like I feel more prepared now than before.
What's your major?
Visual media.
Visual media.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
So I'm from Peru, just as same as Simon. Yes, and I've been here for almost.
What
4
city
years.
in Peru?
Well, I'm from Huancayo.
Huanca, York.
Yes, yeah, it's one of the
Beautiful city.
yeah. It's very close to the capital, we can say, but it's
The
just way
weather's
better.
like this. It's
It's
cold
just
as
way
this.
better. Yeah, yes, and that's very
Blue sky is
Yes.
is the mountains and the Peru. It's beautiful. We've been there with Diana. I've been there. I would say probably like 20 times. I love Huancayo. It's one of my favorite places in Peru. It's amazing. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
All right. Who are you?
I'm Reina. Hi. I'm back. I wasn't here in the last episode, but yeah, I'm back.
She got kicked out because my husband had to take her
Right.
spot. Where did you go to school? What did you do? What
Yeah.
degree did you get?
I graduated last year in June. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my major was what was it?
What the hell are you asking
You
me?
said that. Oh, we were the
It
stupid
was an
ones.
associate's in fine arts, in photography.
In
It took
photography.
me 3 years. It was supposed to be 2, but then the pandemic came, so it took me 3 years to finish.
Wow.
But yeah.
But you
What
still
did,
did it.
what did we study? YouTube.
Yes, exactly.
tutorial.
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube University. Yeah, we use
Actually,
that too.
actually, I did go. Did you go to EVCC? Is
Yeah.
that where you? Okay, so I actually went to EVCC as well, but I dropped out after 6 months. So I mean,
I'm not a dropout because I never went to school.
I didn't go for photography. I went for business because I was already working as a photographer, and I wanted to learn how to run a business correctly because I wasn't making any money. And turns out it is not. They didn't teach you business in college. Does not teach you how to make photography money, like how to actually sell to clients. So that came later, something else. But yes. But by the way, I'm Carly. Yes, and I had, like I said, 6 months of formal education post high school, and everything is taught from YouTube, self-taught, mentors, couple different retreats that I've gone on, workshops, mostly online though. Lots of YouTube. It's taken a long time to get to where I am. I think the cool thing is that you started when 2020.
I actually started in December 2017. We got a camera from a pawn shop. That was March 2015. I bought my camera, straight to the closet, never touch it. I never thought I was going to be a photographer.
Yeah. What was your
And-
first paid shoot?
I don't remember. Actually, it was, I think, $60. No, actually,
When was it? 2017, 2018?
2017, yeah.
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 My first paid one was 2014 when I graduated high school. And then I had my first sessions of that right afterwards were fall sessions outdoors.
Yeah.
So so I've been photographing longer, but you took less time to perfect your craft because you know way more than I do
Well,
at this
I've
point.
been lucky
technically.
because to me, COVID was a blessing in disguise. Pandemic was something good for me because
That's true.
it
Yes.
allowed me to be locked in my house, and I got all my toys in the garage, and I was practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. I'm very passionate and to the point kind of obsessed with what I do.
Yeah.
And when I remember Diana bought me a Frono photo, Jared Pauling, it was a Black Friday. We got 2 DVDs, How to Get Auto and Flash. Because when I got my camera, in my head was, you take the photo, your photo comes out like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about editing, composition, lighting, nothing.
Did you
Zero.
Did you shoot an automatic?
I didn't shoot. I was trying to move the knobs, and I was so frustrated. I was like, let's sell it again. And she was, the fuck you want? You're gonna learn how to use it. So, shout out to my wife
So,
for believing in me.
so you started in your garage, and all you had was trial and error and learning. And you two had an instructor teach you exactly what you should be shooting for if you're shooting fashion, what you should be doing if you're shooting videography. Like, you two have learned a whole lot more technical on the technical side of things than what we did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does that make you feel like they know more?
I don't know. I mean, I pay for workshops when I started because after watching that DVD, I wanna start doing flash photography because it intrigued me. There's a scene that he has in a bar. I was like, that looks pretty cool. This is what I want to do. And at that time, I used to follow a guy named Jeff Rojas, and he used to do mostly men in black and white. That's what I wanted to do too, like outdoor portraiture for business and men black and white portraiture on my garage or my studio. So I took a couple of classes on a camera shop. I paid for the basic lighting class. Never fired a flash in my life, not even once. And automatically, when the class finished, because I was watching Creative Live, Pro EDU, and I told the guy, I mean, I watched all these. Doesn't make any sense to me what you're saying because, oh, you know what, Simon? I think you need to come to the intermediate class. In my head was, bro, I never fired a flash. How the hell I can be intermediate if this is my first basic class?
Yeah.
So I fall on the trick. I pay for the intermediate class. Guess what? Grades. And you know what, man? You need to come to the advanced class. You're very smart. You have some intelligence, so much knowledge of lighting. Now, bro, like, no. Like, what are you talking about? At this point, I didn't have anything on my garage. Just a flash, a broken umbrella, and my camera. The advanced class with a mag mod. I was so pissed about my own mag mod, about some of my stuff. The trick of that class was the guy told me, you will never make it as a photographer if you don't buy all this equipment. Coincidentally, it was Photix. Now Photix is one of my sponsors.
Right.
And this is you need to buy 2 Intra 500, 1 Intra 1200. You need to buy 2 octagon, 1 octagon, 2 street box, 1 this, 1 beauty dish. And that's almost like $7,000. Yeah, but you got 10% off. Because without this, you won't make it as a photographer. I was, all right, well, I think I won't make it as a photographer then. And then watching those episodes on Creative Life, I saw this guy. His name is John Cornicello. And he always was, when everybody gets stuck, he jump in, right? And he fixed the problem. So I decided to hire him. He went to my garage and give me one piece of advice I still treasure, which is have fun, explore, fucked up, keep moving, learn, write down. And that's a lot of steps, bro. But okay, you want to do this. And I get obsessed and I start working with no modifier, just bare bulb, then the 7-inch reflector, 4.5-inch reflector, and I start bouncing light, moving light. And I was practicing with a mannequin head. And we see how the light falls, how the shadow under the nose and stuff like that. And my wife can tell you I become obsessed with lighting.
It's definitely your bread and butter.
Yeah, and I was so comfortable with light that I was always asking for his validation. One day he come and told me, well, your lighting is beautiful. The only thing that you need to work is on making humans don't look like props. And I was, what? Yeah, you got the technical part, now you need to work with the connection part, the human connection. Make your subject look like it's a portrait of somebody actually you care about. Yeah. And that's when I start developing the other side of my career. I start watching tutorials about how to talk to people, how to pose, how to connect, how to direct, how to, make the most of whatever you have on hand. And that I didn't learn it in school, because to me, school teach you, they just do cookie cut, and they teach the same to everybody. But I don't want to do what everybody does. I want to do my own
You're
thing.
about to piss these two off.
Yeah.
So you just talked for like 5 minutes about your whole
Wow.
mantra
It's
and
my
everything that
podcast.
you learned. It's your podcast. Yeah, I run this show.
Oh wow.
And exactly these two here. But in all reality, you took what would you say, 2 years to perfect your craft?
I don't think my craft's perfected yet. I'm still working on my stuff.
Sure, we're always working towards the next best thing. But when do you feel like you could easily create what is on your walls now, to where you could, recreate it? You felt comfortable, like you said. I knew lighting in and out. How long did it take you?
2022.
So it took you 2 years.
No, 4 years.
So from 2016 to 2022, which roughly is about 4 years, right?
6 years.
Or 6 years, exactly. So it took you 6 years, a lot of bumps down the road, ins and outs, learning things, trial by error.
Yeah,
right?
but I bought my first flash, and I got it on July 2017. So my first strobe, and I started practicing with that one, and that's when I think my journey began.
Yeah.
And we just push stuff in my garage. We have literally enough space to put one small backdrop.
Yep.
And that's what we work. I consider my journey began when we cleaned the garage and we were space to use more than one light. That's when I consider, okay, this is when I start. So that's December 7, 2017, actually.
Okay. So December 7th, 2017. So that's, what, 5 years?
5 years. I would
5
say
years.
4 or 5 years.
4 to 5 years, which is a decent, it's about a degree. It's about 4 years. Now, I would love to hear from these two guys about
Who?
Raina and Lou. You guys, you took a 2-year, took 3, and you are currently in a 2-year program?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so 2 years. So it's about half the time. But my question is to you, did you guys pick up the equipment that you think you will work with in the real world the first day of school?
So I think my experience is different because I studied photography in Peru for a year. So when I came here, I had some knowledge about photography.
Is this formal or informal education?
No, formal.
Formal.
Yeah, it
So
was
they're about
like
3
I
years
had a
each.
certificate.
Yeah.
And before that, I studied graphic design, and we have some photography there too, like product photography and some videography as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that deep, but yeah, it was like I knew how to work.
You need
camera.
to handle a camera.
Yeah.
And you learned that based off of a curriculum that somebody taught you, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
An
yeah.
instructor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I came here, for me, I wasn't new to the photography equipment. I didn't feel ready. We didn't have the studio that we have now. In Peru, we didn't have a big studio. We didn't have all this equipment. We were not able to go to the institute there and shoot.
Yeah.
We had to do everything in our houses. And I remember I did a lot of my assignments with my lamp in my bed.
Yeah.
So that was my lighting and my phone's flashlight. So it was a lot of whatever it's more practical for me. But when I arrived here, then we started going to the studio, and we have the equipment, and everything is available to us. Now I feel more sure of myself and professionally talking to I can do a session by myself because I have the knowledge.
She did actually a boudoir session here.
Yeah,
You shot
thank
one?
you.
You see her face?
Wow. I would love to see that.
Oh, yeah,
It's posted,
it's
right?
posted
Yeah,
in
it's
my
posted.
Instagram.
On
Yes.
She doesn't
Yeah.
follow you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah, so you said when you started, you paid for classes and courses and stuff like that.
You're talking to me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in college, the good thing is that we don't have. If you are a beginner, and you don't have any type of lights or even a camera in college, you can borrow all of that stuff there. You have all the equipment available. In there, they're really new model cameras and stuff. But I think that's pretty cool to start. But bad side of that is that when you graduate, you end up having
Nothing.
nothing. Yeah, and you have to start from.
But I think it's something cool that, like for me, I already had my camera
Yeah.
from Peru. I think it's a good opportunity here because you have so many brands to try. Like you have Nikon, you have Canon, you have Fuji, you have Sony.
Kodak.
I've never tried a Kodak,
That's an
but
option too.
I guess. But what I mean is, like at the end of the program, once you've tried all the brands, and now that you know that which one is more like your style, and
I started with
which one-
Canon.
Yeah, I don't know why you
and then
didn't
you
stay.
choose, and then you choose.
And then moved to
Why?
It was a
Sony.
And now
choice
you're
to
a
leave
hater.
Canon.
And I'm a Nikon guy.
Oh my gosh.
Go Nikon.
I
This
started
guy.
with Nikon.
Okay,
and
let
I
me
stayed.
say this clear and loud. I have no preference for camera. I can work with any camera.
He says, I can work with any brand. Send me cameras.
So, yeah. Well, to me, it's not the camera. It's whatever you want to do. I mean, I don't like the color. To me, Canon was too pink.
Too green.
I think it is too cool.
For Nikon?
No, for Canon.
Nikon.
I struggle with the
It also
greens.
depends on it. I think it depends on what model too, because
That's for
the mirrorless, absolutely, there's magenta. But I think it also depends on what lighting you're using too. I mean, everything is a secret sauce recipe.
But that's true. Like each brand has different
It's
settings
color
for their own
science.
brand because
Yeah.
they
is a
want.
science.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense if all the cameras have the same like colors.
Yeah.
Then there
It
would-
wouldn't matter
there would
which
be
one
no
you
brand
buy.
we
identity
Yes,
tried
exactly.
Fuji here, and we tried the GFX 1 or 10. I don't remember.
I
Which
don't remember.
was one of the big cameras.
Was
Bro, that camera
huge.
was massive, heavy, and it was so sensitive that even you, like, my shutter speed was 200, and you have a drag, something like that on the
Distortion.
photo.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was so weird to use. Don't get me wrong, for detail, I love it. I had all the ports and everything, but I would have to be really into the camera for me to be like, okay, yeah, I feel comfortable to do this. With my cameras, I just move my stuff. I know everything, my buttons. It's customized already for me. I don't think the camera matters. I honestly, I'm not against school. I'm not a fan of school neither, because again, I think they do the same education for 20 people, and then they tell you, okay, you do you, be creative, but they teach you the same to everybody. Now, in that case, I'm seeing you had to compete with all the other 20 people, knowing exactly the same. How can you be different then?
I think too, this is where that the formal education versus the self-taught it really varies, is what niche of photography you are entering. Because if you're going into fashion, for example, I believe that self-taught photographers are going to have a harder time getting access to paid bids or paid gigs to be able to break the surface of it because of the technical knowledge that those who have gone to college may have. And on the opposite side of that, when it comes to my niche specifically, so we're talking about newborn and maternity children's cake smashes, you may learn the technical side of things about what light to use, what power to use it at, what camera settings and lenses you should be using, all the technical side of it. You may even learn color grading and Photoshop and whatever else. But when it comes to the actual knowledge of how to handle children, how to handle babies, and how to get them to smile, to laugh, to wrap them, the difference of soft light versus hard light, which you may learn in college courses, it's really hard to teach that in a formal setting as far as getting a degree in that, which is why I went the workshop route. Typically online workshops, same with YouTube as well, learning how to wrap newborns, how to keep them sleeping, how to keep them safe as well, so safety courses. All of those things are not available in college at this current time. Although Ann Geddes was one of the first photographers to capture children in this essence. And since then, the world of workshops has come out. And so that's where, if a newborn photographer wants to start fresh out the gate, just gets a camera, if they were to say, do I go and get a 2-year degree at a college, or do I take this workshop class, let's say for myself, because I teach newborn safety, teach wrapping, lighting, editing, everything on that aspect. which route do you think that this person, if this is the career that they want to do, they say, I want to do photography, but I want to work specifically with cake smashes. Do you guys believe that the formal education would be more beneficial here, or a workshop or self-taught in this instance?
Well, I mean, I will say yes and no to formal education, because yes, it's good to take workshops and stuff, because you can become more professional in what you want to do, like this babies, newborns, and
Is a niche of photography.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you, for example, want to get into a more professional job, if you have just like a certificate or something from a workshop, it doesn't count as a degree from college if you want to get like a higher
Pause. You
job.
calling me unprofessional?
No.
Mm.
No, I'm
Calling
not
you
saying
out,
that.
bro?
No.
I'm pretty sure I'm professional and I don't have a degree.
Wow.
No, I'm
I'm
just
out.
saying, for example, in a photography company or something like that, like big company,
Like JCPenney's.
yeah, something like, no, not actually JCPenney's, but you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that if you have like a degree from college or a bigger university, you can have higher job opportunities.
Now, what on the opposite
I
side?
disagree on that.
I will
Why?
like now that I've been in college, and we usually in the first year we had guest speakers, so it's like professionals or ex alumni. Something that I learned there is that you don't need a degree here to become like really successful. Like here
In America?
Peru, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, like in Peru, is like show me your degree and we'll talk. Here is more like, okay, show me your portfolio, show me your skills, show me what you can do. And I think it's good and bad because people like me, I'm not that social. Like I'm not like contacting people. I'm not like, I don't know, like reaching out to like other professionals. I'm more like, hey, here's my work, and I let my work speak for me. But what they always told us here is that no, you need to actually make contacts, because if you don't have contacts, then you're nothing. You can be like
The networking
best
building.
one.
Yeah, you have to build
You can be
relationships.
the best photographer, the best designer, but if you have no contacts,
And
then
nobody knows who you are. How
it's
they
gonna
gonna hire
be so
you?
hard.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the first thing people ask you when they meet you is, "I'm a photographer." Oh, let me see your work. They
Yeah.
don't ask you, "Where did you study?"
Let me see your degree.
Yeah, they don't ask you for your
Yeah, I
degree,
get it.
right?
Now, I mean, I'm going to speak to your guys' case here for a second, because when it comes to, let's say, the fashion industry, right, which I believe are both of you guys you're niching in fashion. How about you? What's your niche for photography?
so in college, like we try everything, and I think that's something I really
We do
fashion?
drugs too.
yeah, we try everything.
Okay.
Like we try fashion, we try documentary, we try like
Right.
everything.
So all of the things that you tried are most likely those industries. If I were to go put my application in, let's say to National Geographic, and let's say that I have a great portfolio of outdoor work that I've done myself, I think that I would have a harder time getting a job with a company like that. Or let's say Vogue, for example. I could have the best portfolio, and I don't think I would be able to get hired by Vogue necessarily, because when I walk into a room like that, well, one, I also don't have the same years of experience as them, but there's so many more. I know you have this written down, was that companies prefer people with formal education. in
Not
photography.
cheating.
Well, I'm just talking
my
for her.
notes.
I think when it comes down to it, with those specific niches of photography, fashion is the big one. They want to see the degree because they want to see that you know every single command in Photoshop. They want to know that you
I
know.
don't think so.
You don't think
No,
so?
I
I
don't
don't think
think
so.
so.
Yeah.
Photoshop is already, it's so overrated right now because there's AI now.
Yes.
And
sure.
just keep in mind, you've been doing this for 10 years. 10 years ago, there wasn't AI.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Photoshop can do
10 years ago, we delivered deliverable high resolution images on CDs still.
yeah.
But I think that if I were to walk into a paid gig like that, I would feel so inferior. And that's maybe my imposter syndrome, because I've seen Raina's work, and now I feel like Raina should be making more money than me, because I feel like she is, technically, she knows more. And same with you, Simon. I feel like that you have more technical knowledge than I do. And I feel that when it comes to the respect of professionals in this industry, it's almost like if I walk into, let's see, Imaging USA. If I walked into Imaging, and I have done this before. Last year I went and I shook hands of some of the biggest professionals there. I showed them my portfolio, and they said, "I have no idea who you are, and why haven't you gotten merits with us?" And I go, "Well, what do you mean? Why haven't you submitted your work for verification, for certification, so that you can get, and maybe it was their way of wanting to sell this." But they said, "No one here knows who you are because you don't have a title, or you also don't have a formal education." Someone told me that at Imaging. And so I felt so small in that moment, because I felt like my work was not speaking for itself.
Last year, I was in WPPI. And when I started my journey, I spent tons of money watching Creative Life. My favorite photographer of all time will be always Lindsay Adler.
You say her name every single podcast.
Yes.
I need to
I
meet
love
her.
Lindsay.
Shout out to Lindsay.
I would love to meet you, Lindsay.
Lindsay was, and she is, hopefully forever will be my role model, because she's always reinventing herself, like creating something new. Like you can give her a freaking candle or a match, and she will create good light with it. She will be, the coloring, the everything. She's the most complete photographer for me. Then you got Chris Knight. Then you got Sue Bryce. Then you got Johnny Edward. The cool part of my career, the career I'm building right now, I used to watch those tutorials from these guys in Creative Life. I used to admire their work, take their work as a reference. And at some point last year, I was sitting at the same table with them just talking about life. Nobody asked me for my degree. Nobody asked me where did I study, if I was a dropout. They know who I am because of my work. They consider my work decent enough to be in the same table with them.
Yeah.
To me, that's more valuable than having a degree.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because I earned the respect of people I admire. And there's a saying, work as hard as you can until your heroes become your friends or competition. I never seen them as competition. I see those guys as a reference, and I love to see them. I keep learning from them. I keep buying the tutorials. Even when people consider me really good at lighting, I keep learning about lighting, keep learning about posing, color grading, and stuff like that. I mean, Nino Batista is amazing at color grading. I work with him a lot of times. Saul from Mexico is really good at color. And these guys, most of these people, they didn't go to school. I didn't say the people I mentioned, just in general. A lot of these people, they didn't go to school, and they're very successful in what they do. I don't think success is measured if you have a title or a degree or money. I think success is if you want to take a nap at 3 p.m., you can take a nap at 3 p.m. because you earned it and you work for it.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and again, I don't have a title, but I consider myself a very educated person because my education was based on whatever I'm trying to do.
That is true. Yes.
Education, that doesn't mean that you have to go to school.
So you consider yourself, like you said, education is not necessarily school, but you consider yourself a knowledgeable person.
I have a lot of knowledge on what I do. I'm not a technical person. That's the funny part. I read the manuals to see if I want to buy something, but it's not like going to be, this flash is 0.003 milliseconds faster than I don't care about that. Yeah. If it works for me, it works for me. I don't want to pay $300 more for a light because the HSS is going to be a fraction of a second. Oh, you cannot go 8,000. You can go like 1/16,000 of a second. I don't shoot that. I don't care about that. Yeah. I usually work my flash power at 64 or 32. My camera is always 200 FA most of the time. That's enough for me to know that I can do a good job and I can make a living out of it. Yeah. So, and me, I just learned from YouTube, try and error from my garage. I have what I consider a pretty good business.
I'm just waiting for you to roast him. I'm so excited. I've heard you.
So waiting.
Yep.
So I think that's, it's true that you don't need to go to like to have a formal education, but I think it's really helpful, and it depends on like the person itself. Like for example, for you, it worked really well that you didn't go to any, you didn't have any formal education, but because how you are, you make it work. You like learn by yourself.
Define the word formal, because if you buy a
Like
tutorial
you didn't
from
go to college. You
Okay.
don't
I
have
think
a degree.
They're considering college here, the formal. So
Okay.
is a paid workshop a formal education?
I I wouldn't consider that a formal education. I wouldn't consider that like an education, but because you want to learn more about that topic.
Yeah.
You don't get a degree, or do you get a degree from
Like a
workshops?
certificate sometimes.
They got
Certifications,
certificate.
but when it comes down to it, a bachelor's degree is going to mean a lot more as far as a piece of paper as a certification in the eyes of a professional standpoint. Like if you were to work for a company like
Yeah,
Cosmopolitan
exactly.
Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
so let's say for formal education, let's go
yeah,
with that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So and I think that it's the situation for a lot of people that they probably they don't have the possibilities to go to, to college, you know, and they need to like just self-taught like whatever they want to learn. But if you have the possibility to go, I think it's a good opportunity to go to college, to have like a formal education that teachers are gonna try to push you. They're gonna try to get you out of your comfort zone, and that's when creativity like happens too. Because you could be like really good like at pushing yourself, but not all the people are super good at pushing themselves. So that's when the teachers come and the assignments comes into play. Like, hey, I know you're like trying to be a fashion photographer, but hey, you need to do a documentary this time. So it's not something that you're gonna love, but it's something that you're gonna learn, and you can take a lot of little small things from everything you learn. That's what I think. And about technicalities, like I think that learn like technical stuff is really good, just because having that knowledge is gonna get you like farther, maybe. Like if someone comes with like an equipment and gives you like all the technicalities of this, and you already studied, you already know how to manage this, it's like, yeah, I can do it. But if you don't know that knowledge, then it's like, no, I've always been working with these slides or with these kinds, and I don't know how to do it with this. So I think that's something that you would have to learn by yourself as well, because you need to like accommodate to all the situations. Like even when you're starting, when you're already like a super pro photographer, maybe you're the boss and you don't have to. But when you're just starting and you have to learn and you have to assist, if the photographer comes with like a bunch of stuff and it's like, figure it out, you have to figure it out. And that's when all the knowledge from college comes into play.
Okay, but who tells you that the person is teaching you has the right knowledge for whatever you're trying to do?
Or just say this is a good habit and this is a bad habit.
Well, for example, okay, 2 years of college, right? You need to have an assignment done. How many people do you think do it because they have to do it, and they just make something just to present something?
Well,
Right.
A lot,
everyone.
a lot of
A
people,
lot.
yes.
Okay, but still, those people that they just did, they still gonna have a degree.
It's not just because you have a degree, it's like you're good. Yeah, you have a degree, but you're going to show your work too. And if your work
But you
doesn't
just say what I'm
reflect-
trying to explain. I mean,
In college, you have critiques after you finish your assignment, your photo. You have critiques, and you have critiques from your classmates and your teachers who tell you you can improve your photo by doing this next time, or you can improve your photo by mixing these colors together or something like that.
but that is just a personal opinion of somebody to me.
Well, it's your instructor.
Okay, let's put this. I'm an instructor and I love to do good lighting. Okay,
Yeah.
I love dramatic lighting. To me, Rembrandt is a perfect example of a beautiful work, right? So in my head is, oh, everything needs to be kind of Rembrandt and stuff. Now you come and do something different, and you add a light. So and for you is, oh my God, this looks great. And to me, it's kind of that doesn't make any sense. Put my personal opinion to try to teach you something that is not my jam.
I don't think teachers just reflect their personal opinions.
Why does somebody say, oh, you need to add more light? Maybe you add a field light here. Why? I like the shadows. Yeah, but it will look better if you add a field light. I don't like the field light. I want the
Well,
shadow
I
I
here.
think you
They're
have like
teaching
a
you.
wrong concept, like how classes are
professor.
managed, because it's not
I've
like
never been to college. I don't know how that works.
yeah, that's why. So it's more like the teachers won't tell you like, oh, I like this, I don't like this because it's not my style.
And
it's
they're not
more
gonna
like,
make you change it.
hey, these
They're
are the
following.
lights, these are the compositions, this is what it's like. No one is gonna change this. Like all the photographers know this.
That's the criteria. I mean, to me, it's you need to learn everything. It's in the box to be able to think outside the box. Because if you don't know what's here, you cannot, bend the rules or break the rules to become an artist. Okay, so yeah, I know the technical part, but what if the person, for example, the instructor is, you know what, this kid's been here forever. I just want to give it a quick note here so he can just move on for the next semester.
I think that would be considered a bad professor.
Yeah, is the
There
that's
should be
a
somebody
bad
like
teacher.
that.
I think the-
Because honestly, I don't think that everybody that goes to college to study for photography first will finish their career, or first, second, finish their career with a good work. They're just being like probably some handouts there.
But that depends on the person. Like, there's people, as you said, like students that they just do like the work just because they have to do it, and there are some others that really have like put some effort into doing the work, and that's not gonna change. Like if they are in college or if they're not, that's how they are
Yeah,
in
that's
life.
work ethic.
So if you're
That's
in
different.
if you're in college and you just want to take advantage of that opportunity, you're gonna like do it. But if you're in college and you just don't want to take advantage of that, then you won't do it. Like it doesn't matter.
I think at that point, though, I think all four of us would be on the same side of just because you have a degree does not make you great.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you need a degree?
But having a degree doesn't make you not great.
I didn't
either.
say that. I never said that. I'm just talking about traditional education make you an artist, because to me, again, everything is with cookie cutter, that everybody, they teach exactly the same to everybody. How that help you become an artist?
I think because the base is the same for everybody. Like the compositions are the same for
Rule of
everybody.
thirds does not
and
change.
And the
that will never
lighting setups are gonna be the same. Like even if you use one light or two lights or three lights, well, that's what they have to learn. And then when you learn everything, then that's when you get creative. And you say like, yeah, I just want to use one light because I know how to use it. Oh, I want to use 20 lights
But
because I
that's
know how to use it.
you trying to be creative. My question is, how does traditional education help you be creative?
Because they teach the base. If you don't have the
basics?
basics,
Yeah.
if you don't have the basics,
You can learn the
cannot
basics
have-
in YouTube.
Yeah, but as I mentioned before, it's for some people it works, like for you, but for some others they need someone to push them, like to get them from out of their comfort zone, and it depends on the person. Like maybe it will work for them, and maybe it won't, and maybe people like you can just taught themselves.
I think as well, there's something to be said about the younger generation, even though we're the same age. You are in college, so all the college goers right now to me are just they seem younger than me because no, just that seems like something that I did when I was younger. But at the same time, you guys are getting first world experience of the new things that are coming in necessarily, right? Especially AI. And I think that you guys are going to learn how AI is based, how it's going to affect this industry, how to utilize it without having to do this trial and error. Because that's what I'm doing right now, is trying to figure out how I'm going to incorporate AI into my work rather than how AI is going to drive me out. So it's like, how do I get my students to, how can I teach them about AI when you're already being taught about it from somebody who knows everything about it, correct? So, or maybe that, but maybe just elaborate a little bit more on what are the advantages of learning real world problems or real world application for things that maybe us old timers who did start 10 years ago, how your education benefits you in that aspect.
So I think regarding AI, we're also like new to these softwares, like to this new era. And so we're not as knowledgeable as we would like, because something with AI is that it makes your life easy. And when you're in college, our teachers doesn't want us, like they don't want us to have it the easy way.
Yeah.
So they try to limit the using of AI a lot, but they are not against using it. Like sometimes we cannot use it like for certain assignments, but if you're just very curious and you want to just use it for individual work, then you can use it. And it's true, like for us as creatives, as visual creatives, it's sometimes it worry a little bit like how AI is taking over. Like now you can do so many things, like all the softwares have AI now, like designing
It can be a
and
movie with prompts.
yeah, exactly. So that's crazy. But I don't think AI is something that we should be worried about. Like I think it's just a tool more. Like I don't think it's gonna replace us, and that's what we are learning in college too.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't have AI in college. It wasn't
It
out
wasn't
yet.
around.
No.
yeah, because it's pretty new.
Yeah, it's like
Last year.
20. Yeah.
Not really. AI is gone since
2023?
2022, 2023. Yeah, it's
I
not
didn't
that.
have-
It's not that old.
I didn't have AI
Yeah, it's
when I was
pretty
in
new.
college.
But I think it's amazing just how it makes everything so much easier. Like our flow for editing, the flow for like, I don't know, like
You can retouch the skin now with AI.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can mask everything.
Yeah.
Like going to college, there is one of the advantages is like, yeah, they're gonna give you like what it's trending now, what are the softwares that people, professionals are using now. And that's something that is really helpful
Yeah.
because, for example, now that I'm almost at the end of my program, and they are giving us like the tools like, okay, you have to build your portfolio, you have to, now that you have the basics, now that you know the rules, it's time for you to like break them. And so what we do is like we try to do some projects, some assignments that it's what we want to do. Like if you want to do like documentary, go and do documentary stuff. If you want to do fashion, go and do fashion. And something that is really important for us is that we have the support. We still have the support from our teachers. Like if we feel unsure, like, hey, is this working for you? Is this how it's supposed to look? Then we can go to them and they will give us like some critiques or advice.
Yeah, in college, I remember when they taught me about lighting, they taught me about how to use just one light, how to mix 2 lights or 3 lights. And then for your final project, you just have to do whatever you wanted, like fashion, product photography, or anything, but just using the things they taught you. Like if you want to do fashion, try to do your project on fashion, but use just one light, and then 2 lights or something like that. So yeah, it's
Did it hurt to get critique back from either your professors or your other? Because I talked about this in my last episode where I struggle with ego, and I definitely like being told you're doing a great job. But when it comes to constructive criticism, especially when I was first starting out, it hurt a lot for me to hear this image sucks and this is why. And especially if I felt like breaking the rules. Like if I felt like I had created a lighting scenario that was unique and I hadn't seen it before, and it might not necessarily follow Rembrandt exactly. That's not what I was going for. And I would hear that from either another peer or from online forums or from if I submitted it for an award and it didn't get what I wanted or what I thought it deserved. It hurt so bad. So tell me a little bit about the critiquing. It's like if you created something from scratch.
of course, if you put all of your effort and you in your mind are thinking like you did your best to get that shot and to make it that way. If you receive like a critique, not bad critique, but more like a you should have done this better or you should change this to make it better. Maybe it can hurt, but I personally didn't take anything too personal because I know it was like an opportunity for me to grow and to perfect things for the next time.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
yeah, for me
I think
it's
my
not-
mantra this year is to constantly try and learn new things, especially from Simon, because you've also said,
He asked me morning where he at.
you've said many times that, you're never going to stop learning. And
I
that's,
never stopped
You
learning.
never.
yeah,
stop.
you can't. You can't, especially think about it this way. If we choose to be stuck in the place where we learned, right? Let's say you stopped your education right when you graduate right now. 20 years from now, it's going to be a completely different industry. It's going to be completely different software, different editing tools, cameras, lightings, everything else. And if you say, well, this is what I've used forever and I'm going to stay with it, then you're going to also become obsolete. So you have to be able to be willing to learn new things.
I don't think the word's obsolete. It can be outdated, like a cassette or a VHS. Because if you give me a camera, like any camera, I can create stunning image. It's not about the equipment. It's about what do you know. The day you take for granted that you know something, that's when you start going down. That's the day you start, going to the bad path of, oh, I'm legit shit. I know this stuff. No, that's
Not going anywhere.
yeah. You
Yeah,
get
there's
stuck,
no upward mobility.
and
But-
then you start taking possibly constructive criticism as
Attack.
as an attack. Something this unwanted criticism is different. Somebody asked me, what do you think about my photo? I used to ask people, okay, there's 3 ways we can go with this. Are you asking for my opinion? Are you asking me for constructive criticism? Or you just want to hear something nice about your photo? You can tell me which one you want, and I can tell you exactly what you want. Oh, I just want your honest opinion. I think your picture sucks because you did this wrong. And then I thought that I was creating rejection. It didn't feel right. And then I changed it to why you ask me what you like. I mean, are you happy with it? Why you ask me? Are you happy with the shadows? Are you? I mean, is it your intention to do this type of shadows? Or what about the highlights? What do you think about your highlights?
Yeah.
So kind of let them ask their own question, because it's not what I like. Because my taste on photography can be way different than yours or theirs. For me, I love when people tell me what I'm doing good and also what can I improve.
Yeah.
Because that helped me improve my work, the quality of my work. And for me, better work means more money. That's always the way I'm seeing things. If you tell me, Simon, one of the best advice I ever heard was from Eva Blanker. She's one of my mentors too. And she came to my garage and we did kind of a rococo shoot. And I did, technically my lighting was perfect. And she told me, your lighting is perfect, but I hate this picture. And that doesn't make any sense. Why are you saying that? You say that my lighting is perfect. Simon, I look too wrinkled. I don't want to look wrinkled. I want to look pretty. So it's kind of like, okay. It was a totally like, what? I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So she says, as a woman, I want to look good. I don't care about your lighting. I don't care about your technical stuff. I want to see myself gorgeous. And now you need to unlearn the technical part and try to add the human part. I don't think that part is what parents teach you on school. That's the part you need to learn by experience. And when you find a niche.
I'm going to segue into that because I agree with you. I think that the key point, and this is the whole purpose, after you get an education, no matter if it's formal, informal, workshop, degree, you're going to take what you learn and then you're going to have to create something that is unique to you. And you're going to have to learn new things with real world experience. And those years of experience are what is going to get your career started and further. And then what's also going to get you to the instructor level, what's going to get you published, if that's what you want to do. Like, it's going to get you awards, because if you are a cookie cutter, and a lot of people do stay that way, no matter whether or not they say, I want to go to Carly Broughton's, workshop this summer. I want to look exactly like her. And there are people out there, and hopefully they don't watch the podcast, but I'm going to say it. There are people out there that have copied every single point to a T of a photo that I've created.
But that's great.
Well, no, but listen, but there's no uniqueness. There's nothing from them saying everything technically that I did for this image I'm going to recreate, but I'm not going to make it my own. I'm not going to spread out and do something that is original. So originality comes from in here, in your heart, in your inspiration. And that cannot be taught in a school setting. It can be pushed out of you, though. say you learn the technicalities, and then they kick you out of the nest, and they say, this is when you take everything that you've learned and make it into your own personal brand.
That's what I never signed up my word. I mean, when we started doing the same as everybody, you can tell that you differentiate people because of their watermark. I want my work to be recognized because my style, like
Yes.
Lindsay, like Felix, like Sue, like Annie,
And
they don't watermark their stuff.
And the photography industry is over 100 years old, and people can recognize your work without a watermark because you have broken the rules and bended it to change it to match your brand.
Mine is a mixture of a lot of styles. I mean, I love Rembrandt.
Yeah.
I love the old master paintings, Goya, Rembrandt, Velázquez, all of them.
But if I were to look into a museum and put our work side by side, I could tell the difference immediately who took the photo.
Mine is better.
Shut up. Like to see you try holding a newborn and posing it. Yeah.
Oh, hell no, I don't try
And that was what I was going to segue into, was the fact that I guarantee if a college professor were to come to me and say, all right, let's duke it out in a photography duel, right? Or if Simon and I were to duel, photography duel, this is not a thing, and it should not be a thing because you should be comparing yourself to yourself, and that's it, right? But when it comes to knowledge, this is all comes down to knowledge, right? And experience and education. If Simon and I were to go head to head and subject matter was on fashion, he would blow me out of the water. But if the subject matter was on newborns, I know I would win because, again. But then
She's
again,
challenging you.
I am challenging you. Let's pull those babies in
Done.
here and see who wins. But anyways, my whole opinion on this is that, again, you can do as many years of education as you want to, formal or informal, but the real world experience is what's going to matter the most. And I would love to hear from Reina, as we wrap up a little bit more about you finished college and now you are working in a photography studio, and I've heard from you from the horse's mouth. You say that you've learned more now from real world experience.
In
Right.
2 weeks.
Right, because in college you learn the theoretical part, like what happens if you use one light, what happens if you use two, what happens if you move it this way or you move it that way. But here in the studio, I get to experience how to work with real clients, because in college I just had my sister to help me out for posing and stuff. But now I got the opportunity to work with real clients, and then in college I just learned how to use flashes and strobes and things like that. And here at the studio I feel more comfortable using continuous light. So I've learned that part that I didn't in college. So yeah.
How about selling it?
Selling it?
Yep. So you learn everything in college, right?
Yeah.
They teach you how to sell your work.
No.
They teach you IPS.
Well, in my college, no.
Yeah?
They just taught me like theory and stuff like that.
Theory. Okay. So how to shoot.
So I think this is for the last quarter. We're going to have like how to build a presence, like a website and our portfolio, and then how to manage like the business itself. We get some of that where I'm studying. And I think the first quarter we also got some of like how you have to treat the client, what you need to have like emails, you need to have like a brand, a logo, and all the stuff that it's not what a photographer would think, but it's more like what a business person.
That's what a photographer always should think.
But not many do.
I know, and they should, but they don't. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you're very focused on like, I want to be the best photographer, and you just take great pictures, but no one is telling you like, get an accountant, get
A lawyer, the contracts.
exactly.
No, for real.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Contracts and emails, and how you present yourself to a client. How do you respond emails and stuff like
I'm
that?
sorry. All I hear is a lawyer because you're going to get sued. That's all I think.
No, this is the funny part. This is the part that still makes me chuckle sometimes is all these kids, not so kids, they get out of college, like, look, I got my degree. I'm going to make a business. Da, 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 da. And then life hits you really hard on the face. And you notice that making mini sessions of $99 doesn't pay your bills.
Did they tell you, going off of that, did they tell you you should be charging this much?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What
Okay, how much will you charge for a session right now? Photo shoot, maternity photo shoot.
Oh, I'm really bad at charging, but I charged last time $150.
For how many photos?
That was
20.
20 photos. So that you're
But
talking about
that's not something that they taught us in
$7.50
It's
per
not
photo.
something they taught you?
No. Oh, of course, they teach you like, hey, you need to consider like your like first the time of the session, then the time of editing, then your
Not really.
equipment and the lights, and then well, you do need to consider all that. Like that's your work, and
Yes
that's
and no.
your
Well,
equipment.
there's something to be said about that because it's called cost of doing business.
Yeah, no, I
Or
understand that
COTB.
part.
Yeah, COBs. So cost of business is racking all the things up. Plus, what do you want to make in an hourly wage? Add that on, and that's how much you should charge hourly.
I base my price in different ways, but
But
Yeah,
if
of
you
course.
broke everything down, you would probably find that yours is a little bit similar,
yeah, I
right?
saw a cheat sheet about somebody that electricity, water, heat, and it's like, okay, yeah, I understand that part, but this is studio. Sometimes I pay $60, sometimes I pay $500 for gas, right? For the
Yeah,
for the
it's
heat.
hard to budget.
That's
out.
why you do
Yeah.
an average.
Yeah, and then is okay. How much do my business is how much I want to make, not how much I pay for things. That's why you have an accountant. That's why you see how many times a week you want to work, how much you want to make. This is how much your session should be costing. This is the price of your session. Everything you have here, it's just whatever you have now, tomorrow can be gone. But if you have the business hustle, the business and mentality in the business, everything, you can do business anywhere. I can move tomorrow to Florida without any of this and actually have a business.
When you're in college and you're just out of the world, just from college, you need to have like, okay, where do I start? And I think that's what they give you. Like, okay, you need to consider this and that, and that.
Yeah.
The part that you got people coming to college with the same mentality. Not everybody has the same work. Not everybody evolves the same, right? You have a template for a pricing list. Let's say the four of us get out of college right now. The four of us, as we are right now, they finish the same class. Should the four of us charge the same right now?
With our previous experience?
With us today, should we? I don't think so.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
Right?
I don't think so.
And it's
No.
so, and then you got this type of mentality that put you in college. Oh yeah, you need to consider these things, and then when it's the real life, real world to do things, you guys squash bad because they don't prepare you to consider people who won't pay you or the cost of goods or electricity and all that stuff. They give you a little template so you'll be happy and everything is flowers and rainbows, and then no, it's not like that. And Raina can tell you this. When you came here, I told you, I'm going to teach you the good, the bad, and the ugly of having a business. And she was, damn, that shit sucks. Damn, that was brutal. Damn, that. And it's like, okay, what is the good part? I have all this stuff, but how are you going to make money sometimes? You know? And then, for example, again, I'm trying to be an ass, but I will. 20 photos for $150. That's not even JC Penney charges that.
What
used
did
to
you
charge
charge
that.
though when you first started?
My first post, it was 10 photos for $150, $150 for 10 photos. But I was in the garage when I started, and then we took it down in 2 days because I told Diana, I don't want to sell this shit. And then I practiced 4 years. I worked for free 4 years to crafting and perfect, if there's such a thing.
So I would
My
say
craft.
working for free is worse than $150.
No, it's not. Because I'd rather be somebody, hey, you know what? I fucked up. Sorry. Can you come back tomorrow, do this for you again? Instead of telling them, there's a refund the money. So you learn. You're allowed to make mistakes.
I think that's what the model calls are for, though. That's what when it comes
that's
down
why
to
that's
it.
why you learn.
And that's that's
And
the
then
free work.
when I start my business, my pricing list was 6 photos for $1,250.
Yeah.
12 photos for $2,000 and 24 photos for $2,750.
Yeah, and I think there's also a difference of the way that you value your own work. Because I don't think that you have imposter syndrome. For those of us who do, I know my first paid session back in 2016 was my first. 2015, 2016 was some of my first paid work, and I was charging $50 for mini sessions outdoors, and I spent $300 on the set, and I had 2 clients, so I was negative $200 for that session. And the photos were beautiful, but when it came down to it, I was not valuing my work. So
How was it?
What
The kick
work?
in the face.
Oh,
right?
I know, right?
Yeah, but when you
some
come out of
valuable
school,
lessons.
I'm gonna make my list. I'm gonna be so successful in business.
Yeah.
Look at my price, and then you expect $1,000, and then you got 15. But I was
Yeah.
expecting 50. College told me that with this pricing list, I'm gonna be successful.
I don't think college gives you like a template. They teach you how to like analyze your workflow and what are going to be your expenses, and then you have to figure out. It's not like, hey, this is the price you need to charge. It's not
I
like
didn't
that.
say that. I said they give you a template. Oh, you need to consider this, consider that. Okay, that's perfect. But when you go to the real business, you notice that there's not only this, but there's also a few other factors, like how good is your work? How good is your advertising to get there?
How many years experience have you had?
Yeah, is your work?
Yeah.
I've seen people with shitty work driving the car of my dreams. It's kind of a, why you have that and I don't.
Capitalism, that's why. Also, it's art. That's why, because you cannot put a distinct price tag on art because everyone is going to value it differently. The brand is going to be completely different because I promise you that, the Rembrandts of that era, right? Like Rembrandt himself, like his work was going to be completely different charging than Picasso. And there might have been from two different
died
complete.
poor.
Yeah, he did die poor. Exactly. But think of how we view him today. So, when it comes to charging, that's a whole nother episode we could talk about. But I think to wrap things up, Simon, if you want to take over, I think that we just talk about how, regardless of which route you choose to take, what is most important to be able to do.
I'm not against education. Everybody should be educated in any type of business you want to do it. Photography, food, everything. You need to be educated to what you do.
Or if you have the possibility.
Yes. What I'm against to, and not even against to, is kind of I don't know how to even say the right word, is I think it's cool doesn't help create artists. I think schools create, like photocopies of something that it can be even outdated sometimes. For example, you heard Raina say, oh, my school didn't teach me AI, or they didn't teach me how to price stuff. It's kind of, okay, why you pay school then? They should teach you something to go
It didn't exist
outside.
then, though.
You know?
Not in the relativity that it does now, but yeah, I can see. I think this is a conversation that could continue on for
I'm pro
hours.
on education. I'm
Yes.
not pro on
Cookie cutter.
everybody
Yeah.
should teach everybody the same. If you want to niche something, if you want to pay for that class, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I never been in a workshop, but those first 3 workshops I've been in several classes, and to learning specific stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like how to direct people or post people.
I think though, Simon, that to say that these two are cookie cutters would be an understatement. I don't think that they are, and they come from
They
education.
can be.
I think that they are, they're very well educated, and that they have a strong foundation. which is good.
Again, I don't think education should be mixed with
Yeah.
other things.
Well, I think we're out of time.
You think so? She's the producer.
She is the producer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good conversation though, and
Yeah.
we got a lot to talk, and it's so cool that we have like so different opinions in the subject.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, should we say goodbye to
Close
everybody?
it. Raina's gonna say bye now.
Yes.